in the world. We have people all over from India, Africa, England, Europe. So welcome every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, like LA, California time. We go live here at Soulful Guitar Lessons. The format's like the first 10, 15 minutes we talk like on a subject. Today I'm going to talk about essential neo-soul R&B chords. And the rest of the time we're going to do a little Q&A. Cool? So my name is Alec. Welcome. If you're new, just type in the little chat box what your name is, where you're from, your favorite album you've been listening to this week, and that's a little icebreaker. And even if you're returning, let me know your favorite album this week. And I always like to know, there's always so much music coming out. And I'll tell you my favorite record that I listened to this week in a little bit. So we're going to start off here with some essential R&B chords, neo-soul kind of thing. You guys can kind of see my guitar. Maybe I'll adjust this just a little bit. Adjust this camera just a little bit. There we go. There we go. That's better. So here are some really, really big essential R&B chords. I'm going to start off with one and we'll see how far we get. The reason I'm going to start off with this one is this one chord I'm going to show you actually operates as a multitude of chords. And if you know how to use it properly, you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck. And that chord is this. So this chord I'm playing could be like a D minor with some cool coloring on top. So it's like a D minor. It could also be an F major chord. Actually, those are the two chords it could be. And so what I'm doing is rather than play, I think the cool thing about like neo-soul R&B chords is like rather than play like in classic rock, you'll play like, you'll play like a chord and it'll be that chord. There's no movement within the chord, and the reason I like R&B chords is rather than those kind of bar chords, you have like motion and you're like telling a story within the chord. Okay, so see we got some people joining the chat. Welcome. Come say hi. But yeah, we're talking about essential neo-soul chords. I'm starting off with this one. We'll see how far we get. And so let me show you how to play this chord first of all, and then I'm going to show you kind of where it fits. I already told you it could be a D minor chord or an F major chord, but we can work on placement too, because placement is very, very important. So here is the fingering for it. So you don't play the low string, you don't play the A string. So it's XX. If you guys are like reading a tab, it's XX. And I'm going to use my first finger, and my first finger is going to bar the 3rd fret. So XX, 3, and then I'm going to use my ring finger to be on the 5 on the G string, pinky 5 on the B string, and then my first finger is now barring on the 3rd fret. So once again, it's X, X, we're not playing those low notes, and then we are using my first finger on the 3rd fret, just barring, nothing too fancy, barring, and then my ring finger on the 5th fret, G string, pinky, 5th fret, B string, and then this is basically my first finger is barring. So we're hitting that high E string with like the meat of that bar. You kind of see it right there. So if I was to just play the chord, like that's how it would sound. It would just be like, what's up everybody? We got some new people joining the chat and this live stream. Welcome. Just going over some essential neo-soul chords. If you're just joining, this is the first chord we are going over. It is like an F major or D minor. And so that's the shape, and that sounds really cool. Like we could get away with that. It's really, really pretty. That's our D note, or That's our F note. Now here's where a lot of like magic happens, is when we start doing, in that motion, I am hitting, let me just show it to you, because I'm hitting this D string. I'm like picking it. D string, then the G string, and then I am lifting this pinky up. So I'm not playing, and I'm playing the 3rd fret B string with my first finger like bar. So it sounds like this: 3 on the D string, 5 on the G string, 3 on the B string. Then we're gonna go all the way up to the top. So it's almost like we're arpeggiating it. And then we're gonna hammer on with our pinky on the B string from the 3 to the 5. It sounds like this. And that is such a pretty chord, pretty motion. You can hammer on twice maybe if you want. A lot of movement you can do. It's just a really beautiful chord. Right now I have some like reverb and delay on as well. It kind of helps. So that is our chord. And if we were to put it in context, like let's say we were gonna play "Mercy Mercy Me" by Marvin Gaye. I don't know. I didn't have that planned. I just like, it's the first thing that came into my head. So it could be, "Oh mercy mercy me," and then we go down to the D. "All things ain't what they used to be, no." And then those are the first 2 chords. So I'm gonna just play those first 2 chords. "Oh mercy mercy me, all things ain't what they used to be." Right? So we can use that chord and like those old school sounding records. We could use it in something like Al Green. Yeah, a bunch of different contexts. Like if it was like, "Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying," like for that second chord. So instead of "Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying," instead of playing a D minor, we could play that. "Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying." So that's our placement. So we welcome everyone. My name is Alec. If you're just joining us, we're going over some essential neo-soul shapes. I see some people are commenting in the chat. I'm going to check it in just a bit and say what's up. I see we have some people returning. So for the first little 8 minutes or so, I was just showing you this shape. And this shape could be a major or a minor, depending on where the bass player puts the root. And yeah, it's very versatile for that reason. If you know how to place it, and I was just showing you exactly how to place it, it'll be a really beautiful chord to incorporate into your vocabulary. Also, let's do another chord. This is one that I use all the time. It sounds like this. I think this one kind of gets a bad rap from like social media or whatever. Like a lot of people use it, but like out of context. So I'm going to show you here exactly how to use it musically and like soulfully, rather than just playing like random gibberish that sounds cool, but it has no ties to any like songs or musical background at all. So let's keep with the Marvin Gaye thing. So "Mercy Mercy Me," right? If we're playing in F, well, first let me show you exactly what this is, the fingering, and then I'm going to show you how to use it in context. Cool? So here's the biggest thing. This chord sounds really great if you play it, but you slide into it from a whole step below. So that's like a nuance that not a lot of people know. That's a really important thing though. Like if I just play the chord versus sliding into it from a whole step below. Like, to me, that makes or breaks. And the person that showed that to me a long time ago was my buddy Anders Nordstrom. You guys probably all know him from this channel as well. Fantastic guitar player from Chicago. One of my great friends. And anyways, this was a long time ago. So this chord essentially sounds great. I'm going to show it to you in the proper positioning, and then you're going to slide into it a whole step below. So it's going to look like that. And basically, I'm using my first finger to bar everything on the 12th fret, except for the low E string. Okay, so that's what it's going to sound like. We're barring everything on the 12th fret except for the low E. Then we're going to use our middle finger and play the B string, B as in boy, 13th fret. And that's our chord. This is a super open chord. If you guys know McCoy Tyner or any jazz people, like, this chord is like tuned in fourths essentially, and it gives it a kind of ambiguous sound, which is cool for singers and vocalists because they feel free to like do whatever they want over it. But anyways, maybe that's too much information right now. But anyways, this is the chord. This is the chord, and I think where a lot of magic happens, like the previous chord, is when movement happens, like when hammer-ons and pull-offs happen, and when we start like coloring the chord rather than just playing the chord. I think that's the beautiful thing about R&B and soul rather than like rock music, is like a lot of chords move within themselves. So what we're gonna do is literally we're gonna play this chord. We're gonna use our pinky to be on the high E string, and we are going to pull off from the 15 to the 12. That's what it sounds like. And then we can also do that like all going down, like the 15 on the E string, 15 on the B string, 14 on the G string, 14 on the D string. So I'm going to repeat that because that's really important. I'm going to run that back real quick. You can hammer on and pull off on any of the top 4 strings. So on the 15 on the high E string, on the 15 on the B string, on the 14 on the G string, and the 14 on the D string. All right, so now, like, we have this idea. And if you want to just simplify it, I just strum down, rake back up, pull off, upstroke on the B string as well, upstroke on the G string. And that is how you play that beautiful chord. And we can slide into it. And then let's make it have musical meaning, like musical context. So, you know, this is, oh, mercy, mercy me. And then you could also play this chord like that. Oh, things ain't what they used to be. So F major or D minor. Cool. Let me know if you have any questions on this topic. I know I've kind of ignored this chat until now, but if you're just joining me, we go live every 10 a.m. Pacific time Wednesday, and today we're going over essential neo-soul R&B chords. And my name is Alex. Say what's up in the chat. I've been doing this thing a long time. I'm really glad everyone is here, just, you know, connecting from all over the world. We have people from, you know, India and Africa and South America, and it's just a really cool thing. So thank you for being a part of this soulful guitar community. I'm gonna hit the chat real quick, see what you guys are saying, and yeah, maybe get a sip of coffee as well. And now we're kind of entering the Q&A portion of the day. So if you're just joining us, we were going over some chords, neo-soul chords, and now we're kind of doing a little Q&A. So let me know anything it's been on your mind this week. Any questions? I'm an open book. I don't really keep any secrets as far as, you know, music. You know, maybe don't get too personal here, but I'm in I'm in Los Angeles here, and it's a beautiful day. It's kind of cold, but grateful that it's sunny out. It's supposed to rain all weekend, so. We got a dude named Prince. It's a long name. I don't want to mispronounce it, but Prince some lot, and he said, basically, thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate it. What's up, Quentin? I recognize you, man. You've been here like every week. How's it going, man? South Africa. Prince, you asked a question. I think it was earlier in the chat or earlier in the talk. So maybe if you wanna, if you're still here in this live stream, can you maybe specify, because I kind of covered a couple topics. So basically, Prince. Okay, so you just said. So the first chord is not the 5 chord. The first chord is the 1 or the 6 chord. So the first chord I showed, Prince, it sounds like this, and that is for our 1 chord or for our 6 chord. Hansia, you were asking how to make a 2-5-1 interesting. Before you make stuff interesting, if you're able to like understand exactly what a 2-5-1 is, that's really important, and then you can make it interesting. So let me demonstrate. So say we're doing a 2-5-1 in the key of C. So rather than doing a 2-5 like this, kind of those big block chords, here's really what's essential to understand is this sound. Check it out. I'm going to play it one more time, and then I'm going to explain what's going on. What's happening is I'm playing a 2-5-1, and every time I play, one note changes, only one note. So this is our D, here's our G, and here's our C. All right, so I'm going to add that root. So check that out. So now if we want to make it interesting, now that we have like our fundamentals down of like, okay, only one note, like let's simplify everything as basic as it can be, right? Before we start making anything fancy. So now we can start adding some color, right? So we could add, what I think sounds interesting is like when a line goes up or down. So if it's like, so the line is like, so, or it could go the other way, right? It could go, I think to me that's what really sounds interesting is when the person playing guitar or all of us, right, have like lines that connect in like a very linear fashion. It's not like you're going from here to here, jumping all over. But yeah, really understanding those building blocks. Let me know if that was like helpful at all. For me, like that's the biggest thing is making melodies with the top note. That's a really, really fun way to make 2-5-1s interesting. Quentin, thank you. I saw you signed up for the masterclass, so I'm glad. I'm glad that it was helpful. I guess now would be a good time to mention. So I have a free masterclass, no money required. It's just in the description. If you guys are curious at all about like just playing more soulfully, I'm able to go into like more detail with the masterclass. So if that interests you at all, yeah, feel free to check it out. It's completely free. Hansia, no problem. I'm glad it helps. Glad it could help. Cool. We got a good amount of people here. So I see we got about 10, 12 people here. So if you're new, here, come say what's up in the chat. We have a lot of people that return, but you know, I would love to say hi, introduce myself. I'm Alec. If you want to introduce yourself in the chat, that'd be cool. What's up, Douglas? We got Douglas. He's an OG at this point. Got a guy from Europe, Germany. Douglas, week is going well. Hope your week is going well as well, man. I guess at this point we're doing a little Q&A. I'm curious what are people really struggling with, like, at this moment. It doesn't have to be, just guitar, you know, I'm not going to be, this isn't a therapy session, but what are people struggling with, like, on guitar, and maybe I can help out. So feel free to blow up the chat, and I'm just really, really genuinely curious what, is our scales, or trying to ear training, or 2-5-1s, yeah, just let me know, and we could chat about it. And the reason I'm turning around is I have the chat behind me. Douglas, thank you. Thanks for watching the video. I just put out a John Mayer video, and Douglas was just commenting on that, and yeah, I have a cool story in there. I'm not going to ruin it on this chat, but yeah, it's when I met him. It was really cool. So if you guys have time, check it out. Prince, you were asking if I teach jazz lessons or whatever. I don't teach privately, or I don't have any availability for private students at the moment, but it's weird because I don't really consider myself a jazz guitar player. I have a big jazz background, and I love jazz harmony, but as far as like teaching jazz, you know, like that kind of thing, no, I kind of like to infuse it with a little more modern, like, zest, I guess, like R&B, pop, gospel, that kind of thing. And I guess that's why everyone's here, is because people kind of like that. Like, jazz to me is amazing, it's beautiful, I listen to it all the time. I have a Chet Atkins record happening, but in the other room. But yeah, as far as like strict jazz, like by the book, yeah, I like to add a little zest in it. Douglas, you're saying you're struggling with comping and playing melodies underneath. Okay, so if I was to approach that problem, I would, find a song, like, I don't know, whatever song. I've Got You Under My Skin. It's like an old jazz song. And what I would do is, rather than try to tackle the whole problem at once, I would just like figure out what are the chords. Okay, that's step one. What are the chords? But not try to play anything too fancy. I would, like I was explaining earlier, just play the meat and potatoes of the chords, just like the 3 and the 7. Like, it sounds like this. And then I would try to add the melody on top, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've got you under my skin, you know? So I'm trying to like have those two ideas join. You know, right now they're not like joining, like the idea of chord. I've got you under my skin, right? You know. And the way I'm doing it is I'm trying to like figure out, okay, with the melody, what chord shape do I know that would include that melody note on the top? Does that make sense? So like, if I'm playing an F, like if I know the chords for this example I'm showing you is F minor 7, B flat 7, and E flat major 7. So if I was to like, I would be like, okay, like process of elimination, what note has this on the top? Or, you know, and there's multiple ways to solve the problem. You know, it's not like there's only one solution. Okay, it could be, or down here. There's like multiple shapes, and that's what gives everyone their own unique flavor. And that's kind of how I started solving that like little problem of like, oh, I have my chords, I have my melody, and never shall they meet. Like they're always separate. No, that's not true. And this is how I think of it. So I hope that helps. Ted Wan, we got a new person. What's up, man? Yeah, just where are you from? I really like knowing where you're from, maybe how long you've been playing. I think it's so cool that the internet can connect people from all over the world. Germany, we have like so many people from all over the world right now. I know we have South Africa and Germany. And normally we get a lot of people, America, India, South America. Yeah, it's super cool. So yeah, let me know a little bit more about yourself, and yeah. David, you were saying this is your first time on the feed. You enjoy my work. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Super cool that you could join us. Where are you from? And the reason I'm turning around is I'm gonna get this better, but I have the chat behind me. I think I'll be able to do this better for next time. Okay, so Quentin, you were saying you struggle to understand the Barry Harris diminished scale. For people that are new to this channel, like I put out a video maybe 5 or 6 years ago covering a very, very amazing, famous, brilliant educator pianist called Barry Harris, and I did a topic called the diminished sixth. It sounds fancy, it sounds like some stuff you get a PhD in, but it's really not that complicated. For me, the way I use it is I use it to create chord melodies. So let's use our example before I've got you under my skin. So I've got you under my skin. This is our song. Let's just say it's F minor 7, B flat 7, E flat major 7. Okay, so the way I would use this Barry Harris is I would be like, okay, I have this chord, and I'm not so concerned with like the exact voicings. That'd be like the Barry Harris, but like I would have my 1 chord, and then my 2 is always diminished. So it sounds like this. And like, so I'm trying to make here's my melody. And then, you know, I'm able to make, and so then I am trying to make a melody. So I've got you, and then right here maybe I throw in and then, so we're gonna try to make this like, we can maybe throw in some diminished chords, right? so like what I'm noticing with this problem, like this melody doesn't like it doesn't lend itself very well for the Barry Harris thing, because it doesn't have this none of the melody choices would include that diminished flavor. So if it was to include a diminished flavor, the melody would include other notes. So like it might sound like, yeah, I don't know, like but it doesn't have these notes. It's like a pentatonic melody. So maybe that was a bad example on my part. But the way I would use it, like going back, not to confuse it too much, is anytime I have like this note on the top, like the 4 note, I would just play a diminished chord. So it's like my 1 chord is a major, my 2 chord is diminished, my 3 chord or whatever is the same as my 1 chord. So I'm like simplifying everything into just like 2 chords. So it's like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And that's kind of how I'm thinking of the Barry Harris. I know I'm kind of like jumping. It's like a whole, literally, if Barry Harris has hundreds of videos where he's educating about this, and I know I'm trying to sum it up in like 3-4 minutes, and it can pose a bit of a challenge, but hopefully that makes sense. It's like whenever you come across a note on the top that is the 2, the 4, or the flat 6, or the 7, you can use diminished. So if my top note, so if I was playing a major scale, here's my 2, so I can play a diminished. Here's my 4, here's the flat 6, play a diminished, and here's my 7. And what you notice is they're all the same diminished chord. I think what I'm gonna do is, because it's such like a kind of a wild topic, and I feel like I'm not really doing it justice right here. I think because I think it would be very helpful to have like some diagrams and stuff to help explain everything. But hopefully that didn't confuse you more than it helped you. Hey Sonia, what's up? Welcome. Yeah, you were talking about chord melodies, trying to figure out what chord fits. I was covering it earlier. Did that help you at all? Did that make sense? Douglas, you asked me a personal question of like, are there any artists that I would love to work with out there? I would love to work with John Mayer. I love his songwriting. I love his guitar playing. The funny thing about all that is like, John Mayer is so established, right? He's been doing it for 25, maybe 25 years, 20, 25 years. He's incredible. And that's one guy I would love to work with. I'm also always like looking out, because LA is such a hub for creatives that like, it's fun to think like, oh, who will be the next John Mayer? Who will be the next person that kind of takes the baton and like keeps moving music forward? And so I'm always kind of like looking out for that too. And I guess it's the fun thing about being in a very, very creative city is you're kind of able to like, oh, who's got the next little thing going on? So, but to answer your question, John Mayer is the person I would like to play with. David, you said you're from Maryland. You've been playing guitar for 15 years. That's awesome. What kind of guitar do you have? Are you a hobbyist, professional, somewhere in the middle? Yeah, let me know some stuff you're working on, you're struggling with, and thanks for being here. Ted1, you said you're from France. You've been trying to play the guitar for 16 years. And yeah, I feel like guitar can be one of those things. It's such a beautiful instrument. It takes a lot of time and dedication and effort to get into it. So you're not alone. A lot of people kind of struggle to get that aha moment. Like for me, I've been playing guitar just so everyone knows, I've been playing guitar for about 20 years now, and I feel like it wasn't until the last 5 years or so that I really had my like aha moment. Some people like pick up the guitar and within like a couple months they're flying, and some people pick it up and after 2 years they're like, everyone's journey is different, so don't get discouraged. And I'm glad you're here on Soulful Guitar Lessons. Hopefully we can kind of take you to the next level, and hopefully you kind of just stay with it and enjoy the journey, because it's really a fun process of just like learning. Always learn every day. If you're learning something new, trying, practicing, getting better. It's a super rewarding thing. So thanks for being on. Okay, Quentin, you were saying you understand. Sonia, you were saying I covered that. So I'm glad I'm at least making sense to some people out there. Unlabeled Tees, what's up? Thank you so much. So Unlabeled Tees has been with us before. He was saying Think of Someone Else is a dope song. If you are kind of new to this channel, I have a moniker that I release music under. This isn't really even a I don't even know if I've mentioned it that much, but it's called Morris the Maverick. So I release music under Morris the Maverick, and I do everything. I write, produce, I play every instrument on it, and it's kind of it's a super rewarding project. And if you feel like you want to check it out, Unlabeled Tees did, and yeah, it's cool. I enjoy it, and it's a really fun, creative outlet for me. And I'm glad someone out there actually enjoyed the song. So that's super cool. Okay, Quentin, you said you're struggling to learn the Sir Duke riff, but you're getting it. Okay, so here's a big little tip that I didn't discover until the last like 5 years. I'm just gonna give it away for free, no charge right here. When you are playing those kind of lines, those pentatonic Sir Duke lines, that kind of thing, I am like not using my pinky. And it kind of seems like a small little thing, but for me, once I stopped using my pinky and I was playing those pentatonic lines, like a light bulb happened for me. So like instead of, I don't know, it always just hung, like I was always hung up on that. So try that. So try starting that whole thing, that whole line with your ring finger. And that's another thing, like sliding a lot. So instead of going, notice the difference. I'm going like this, but this is a big thing I do. First finger, ring finger, and then just slide up. Like it's not like proper fingering where I'm going, like every fret has to be a new finger kind of thing. Just keeping it comfy, like, is a really, really big thing for me too. So try that out. Let me know if that's helpful. Avoid the pinky. Douglas was saying, if Sharky ever steps down from the mayor gig, I would do a great job. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know if Sharky would is ever stepping down anytime soon, but I guess that's his business. But that would be a total dream. It'd be so cool. I've been listening to him forever. So thank you, man. David Smalls, you were saying you're a professional. You got a Fender Strat. You're looking to get it more into quartet style guitar. So that's awesome, man. I mean, right now, who are you listening to as far as quartet? Excuse me. Just curious. Some big influences on me as far as like, I'm kind of like weird. I feel like I'm kind of like a black sheep because I got my toes in neo soul and quartet, but also like country and R&B. Like I kind of like had this whole gumbo. So I wouldn't consider myself like one of each. But for me, like Jubu Smith was a huge like influence. The Soul Seekers, those records, both of their records, are super influential on me as far as like quartet guitar playing goes. At one point, I had transcribed I had like basically everything down from both of those albums. You know, now it kind of escapes me, and I kind of only retain what I need to retain. But if you haven't checked out those records by the Soul Seekers, next level. Chris Keys, you said hello from Mississippi. What's up, man? We have yet to have anybody from Mississippi on here. That's awesome. Are you a guitar player? How long you been playing? Yeah, just if you guys are just joining, say what's up in the chat, where you're from. Yes, it's cool to get to know everyone, and we have like I start to recognize people. You know, people coming back. Quentin from South Africa. You know, Doug from Germany. It's cool to Unlabeled Tees from California. I start to recognize people. So say what's up in the chat. Ted Wan, you said thank you, man. No problem. You know, feel free to hit me up in the chat and ask any questions, because yeah, I'm kind of an open book. I don't really hold anything secret. David, you said, I think this is a big thing. So David was saying that he is a professional, but he feels like an intermediate by comparison. And I think this is a big thing. This is like the downside, I guess, of social media and stuff. And I feel this as well. I feel it's kind of like an imposter syndrome where, like, no matter what gig you're on or what you're doing, it doesn't feel important. You're like, oh, but somebody else is doing it better, or like maybe I shouldn't be here because I'm not qualified. And I think and this is, I'm kind of speaking to myself as well, because I'm guilty of this. I think a lot of people are, is just like living in the moment and being grateful for what you are doing at that very moment. Spanky Alford, a great guitar player, had a quote. He's like, just, you know, we're only lent this gift when we're on this side, you know, of the world. Once you die, you don't have this gift anymore. So if you can be appreciative just for being able to play, and it's kind of like one of those things, easier said than done, but if we can retain a sense of like gratitude for just like whatever we're doing in the moment, I think it helps. And limiting social media also helps. And learning, like, I'm always inspired by my peers, by other individuals, because people are so amazing out there, and I'm just like, I like to soak it up. But I do like, I do understand where you're coming from, because I think a lot of people feel that. But hopefully that little inspirational speech will, you know, you know, be the magic bullet. But yeah. Christian, what's up, man? Christian Mason. Where are you from? I think this is the first time I've seen you on the chat, or at least the first time we've interacted on the chat. So thanks for being here. Excuse me. Excuse me. Man, what that was. Excuse me. But Chris, you're saying you grew up in the Mississippi Delta. You've been playing quartet for 17 years. That's incredible. You probably have a lot of knowledge. And I think a lot of people in the chat kind of come here to like kind of learn some quartet, some neo soul, some everything, really everything. How to like play with more intent, with more soul, whatever it is you're doing, right? It's not like Sharky, who's a great guitar player, grew up playing John Mayer kind of music, like he was able to take what he knew and use like play soulfully, despite the genre, whether it's singer-songwriter or whatever. So but anyways, yeah, that'd be fun. If I'm ever in the Mississippi Delta, I'll shoot you a message. Do we have any other questions? Otherwise, we can wrap up. Today was a really good day, everyone. Like, we had a lot of people coming in and out. A lot of people saying what's up in the chat. I love that. That's super cool. But yeah, just to recap, everyone. So every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, I go live. It starts off with a topic. Today we were talking about neo soul chords, like sounding like this. Like these kind of chords. And then we move into more Q&A kind of thing, and that's when I like to open up the chat. And if anyone's interested at all, I have a free masterclass. It's just in the description box, completely free, if you're kind of wondering how to incorporate a lot of the stuff we're talking about. So, if you have time, you have a couple minutes, check it out. Oh, Christian, what's up, man? Okay, so you yes, you've been in LA 8 years. We follow each other on IG. You're saying what's up. That's awesome. That's so cool, man. Well, thanks for being on here, even though you're a seasoned professional. You probably don't need any of my help here, but but thanks for being on the chat and for saying what's up. Appreciate it. Cool. Well, I think I'm gonna sign off here, guys. Maybe play a little bit and then sign off. Thank you to everyone that joined the channel today. Really, really appreciate it. It's super cool to get people from all over the world just kind of together, uniting over this instrument that we all seem to love. Yeah, I don't know. It's just so cool. So thank you. Thanks everyone for joining us. This is the part where I practice talking and playing. Clearly not doing so hot. jamming out. It's funny. I was like, yesterday I have a little back porch, and like sometimes I'll bring my Telecaster out there and not even plug in. I'll just be jamming. Like I'll just have my foot stomping and just jamming. Like whatever comes to my mind. I try not to. I try to like when we first started picking up the guitar. Like I try to maintain that like childlike joy for it and try to like every day, because if we're I don't know that this is just like a me thing, but maybe it applies to other people, because it's just like so important to maintain that that like love. Like when you first got into this, like why did you even get into it in the first place? It's not like because you wanted to have like 100,000 Instagram followers, or you wanted to play for a big purse, like, you know, we want to play for whatever, John Mayer, or, you know, it was none of that. It was just the fact that you loved what was happening in the moment. And so if we can all like try to get back to that place, I think we'll all myself, well, maybe I'll definitely be happier. That's what I try to do. So but anyways, thank you everyone for coming on Soulful Guitar Lessons. Really appreciate it. And my name is Alec. I'm signing off. I will see you guys all next week, next Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you're around, come in, say hi, and we'll be covering some new topics and do a bunch of Q&A. So thanks everyone. Take care.